Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Little King story playthrough. So, we finally made it to just outside Boney Tunnel, which means that we could very well take on whatever kingdom we so chose to. So that would either be the Kingdom of the Jolly, or the Ripe Kingdom, or Kingdom. However you want to pronounce it, because he decided to add an E on the end and make it super French. Now, we would be going and taking down the Kingdom of the Jolly first. I mean, that is where we're going to go. But, there's a little something that I feel the need to do before we get to that point. Because, really, we need a much stronger team of soldiers. Because at present, they're a little bit on the weak side. If we went into the Kingdom of the Jolly, while I suspect we could do perfectly well at taking down King of Rock, it's going to be much more difficult for us than if we, just went in with the best possible citizens. So the entire thing of this part is raising enough money to train up as many hardened soldiers as possible. Now, I don't know how many we can get at present, but I am certainly going to give it a damn good go once I've found where the veterans' barracks are. Because I got a little bit lost and was just like, oh, it's there. Oh, thank God, it wasn't that far away. So, seeing as, our soldiers are already very important to us, we're going to turn our normal grunt soldiers into hardened soldiers, because they are generally the best people for the job. Obviously, we only had enough to train up one soldier, and that really is not going to be enough. So, yeah, we are really seriously going to have to do quite a bit of raising money. Because I think I want to make sure that I train up all of the grunt soldiers that I've got in my Royal Guard right now into hardened soldiers. Because they are so incredibly useful, because they are much more powerful than your regular grunts, as you can tell by how quickly these Onis are now going down. I mean, they were already going down quickly, but with the hardened soldier, they just sort of disappear before they can even actually do anything. The other thing is that they've got like a super attack, which they do every now and again. What they do is they sort of leap up into the air and slam down on the opponent, and it's super deadly and super awesome. And that move, because also what hardened soldiers do is that they automatically leap onto your enemies. That means that combat can be quite a lot smoother, because your hardened soldiers will attach themselves to your foes and obliterate them in as quick a time as possible. So really, we're going to want as many of those to take on the kings of the other kingdoms. Because obviously they are the major bosses in the game, so we want to stand the best possible chance. And, right now, Turnip Warrior is not a pleasant mission to try and do. It's just all the Radizes and turnip heads, and it's just frustrating. But it'll all be good, because after this relatively short part, just covers, the standard day, we should have enough soldiers to go and take on the next kingdom, and I can guarantee you that starting in the next parts, progress will most definitely be being made in terms of the story. We will start taking down the other kings, and it's just going to be awesome! But in the meantime, it's just another little jaunt through everything. And I have to say, I can't wait until I can actually start talking about the classical music again, because we've been in that sort of awkward bit when there's not really been anything new in terms of music. We've just had the Song in the Kingdom, which is Beethoven's Symphony No. 9, 4th movement. We've had, in the outskirts of the kingdom, we've had Schubert's Marche Militaire. We've had, obviously, Saint-Saëns' Carnival of the Animals Aquarium in the Dark Valley here. We've had a bit of Beethoven's Symphony No. 6, the Pastoral Symphony, 5th movement in the forest. And, yeah, that's been it. Obviously, we've had the other things, like the festivals, Verdi's Drinking Song from La Traviata, The Beginning of a Day, which is Tchaikovsky's Dance of the Mirlitons, or, yeah, from the Nutcracker. You've had The End of Day, which is Antonin's Dvorak's Humoresque No. 7. We've had the song which plays whenever we sit on the throne, which is John-Philippe Sousa's Semper Fideli. Obviously, we've had the wonderful Bolero, we've had the glorious Pomp and Circumstance, we've had Johann Strauss's Voices of Spring whenever we've been victorious. And you will have also heard, obviously, Georges Bizet's Toreador song for the world domination, Alexis Le Piccadilly. Mentioned Campbell's theme, which is Dance of the Little Swans by Tchaikovsky. You've had, obviously, the William Tell Overture by Rossini. Obviously, we had, with the Oni King, Eric Satie's Nocien No. 1. And I don't know whether we have heard Verd's theme or Verd's theme. I never know how you pronounce the name, but we'll change it up as we go along. And Liam's theme, because Verd's theme is Johann Strauss's Annan Polka, and Liam's theme is Gustav Mahler's Symphony No. 1 in D major, Titan, 2nd movement. And I think that pretty much covers everything so far, other than the song that we hear in the Palace, which is Mozart, well, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's Ein kleine Nachtmusik, 4th movement Rondo, which is this song. And please say that that's more than an... Oh, good. So that's enough to get us 6 Hardened soldiers, which means that we'll have a grand total of 7, as long as I... oh! We can actually get 7! Yay! So that means we can have a grand total of 8 Hardened soldiers, and really that should be more than enough to take on the evil King of Rock. I mean, he's not that evil, he's quite funny. But oh, it's so good. We're finally ready. Pretty much. Obviously, we've got to go out and all sorts. I don't quite know why I'm deciding to head out now, because it's quite clearly the middle of the night. But, clearly I'm a little bit sleep deprived, but these things happen. It's because I was so excited about what's going to happen in the next part. I'm sure you all have been as well, because I'm sure you're probably just like, for God's sake, another one of these parts. Speed the damn thing up. get on with it. But RPGs, what are you gonna do, eh? Think of anything? That whole thing of downtime in a game is one of the reasons why I have sort of moved away from playing lots of RPGs these days. I mean, I've kind of got myself into a bit of a quandary because I've got like quite a few RPGs that I need to play, because obviously I've got to finish off Little King's story here. I mean, it's not quite an RPG, but it's of RPG length, certainly. Obviously, there's Pokemon Sun and Moon coming out, which I very much want to be part of. Final Fantasy 15. I actually managed to find an Xbox 360 PAL version of Tales of Vesperia, so of course I got my hands on that. So I've got that to play. I've still got Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE to play, because that's been waiting since I bought it, and I feel bad, but wanted to finish off Little King's story first, but that's taken me a little bit longer than expected. Then I've still got Final Fantasy X to finish off, because I haven't finished that off in years. Final Fantasy X-2, Super Mario RPG, and Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. And I suppose there is also technically Spectropes 2, which could be classified as an RPG. So I've got lots of RPGs that I need to finish, and it breaks my heart because RPGs take so bloody long to beat. And it's just that time of life where I don't quite have the time to funnel into all of these things. I mean, really, it's the main reason why I've steered clear of Xenoblade Chronicles, because I certainly do not have time to play 100-hour games. It's pushing it at 50. I mean, it's pushing it at 30, to be fair, but oh well. Anyway, so seeing as we've now got our hardened soldiers, we're now going to go into our treasures and equipments and stuff, and make sure that we have the best possible team available to us. So we're going to give all of our citizens, or at least most of our citizens, some form of weapon. We're also just going to shift up everything because a chef is not going to prove useful to us for the Kingdom of the Jolly. And really we just want to make sure that we have the most suitable of teams. Really, you probably only need hardened soldiers, hunters, they're quite helpful. I think for the Kingdom of the Jolly, that is about all you actually need. But just for the purposes of this, and just making it so that I'm not losing too many of my team, or my standard Royal Guard, I'm just gonna leave in my carpenters and Fran as my merchant in the lumberjack and the farmer. Because I mean, farmer could be quite helpful because we might have to dig up a fountain, so, or hot spring, so that'd be quite helpful. Merchant might find a hidden dig hole, I'm not 100% sure, and lumberjack, I know that there are some logs about, but I don't think there's any lumberjack only logs that you have to deal with in the Kingdom of the Jolly. But either way, that pretty much prepares us for taking on the Kingdom of the Jolly. And after a brief just looking, like, you know, the suggestion box and the kingdom plan, there's not really a whole lot we can do here, is there? I think it's time to save up, and then it will be time to take on the first of these false kings after the Oni King. And it's going to be the Kingdom of the Jolly, and it's going to be glorious. Ha ha!